Paul was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, hello there. Good evening. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon on this Sunday night. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather at 10 p.m. on what has been a hot day and heading into at least a hot beginning to the week. And even though things hopefully cool down as we get deeper in, it's probably going to take a little bit of time before we get there. Of course, we're here in the Room to Room Weather Center and we're talking about dangerous heat that continues to build. So if you thought we're hot today, don't worry. We go up a notch tomorrow and yet another one as we head toward Tuesday. We do think that rain chances start increasing beyond Tuesday and even arguably a little bit Tuesday there. And it's going to be a kind of a give and take on that. As the rain chances increase, there should hopefully be more rain cool there. That should hopefully make things more moderate. Hopefully, there's still some questions there. There is a significant front late this week, though, and I think, call it a cold front. I'm trying not to bite hook, line, and sinker on this one. Some of my projections have some 80s out there for the weekend. I'm going to keep one of those on the 7-day forecast. That might get tweaked as we get closer. I'm just not sure if it's the fool's meteorological gold as far as that's concerned, because this time of year, nothing would move the meter like, yeah, we're a lot cooler. Now, there are some spots out there that are manageable this evening. Aberdeen, one of those 79. You'll probably be 79 degrees at 7 a.m. tomorrow, and it's just how quickly those temperatures are rising. By 9 a.m., some spots like Aberdeen probably at least middle to upper 80s and probably feeling like near the triple-digit point. That's the reason we have those excessive heat warnings and heat advisories in effect for some spots. So overnight, those temperatures on the average about 79 there by 2 o'clock in the morning, 77 by 5 a.m. And then from there, we're 83 at 8 a.m., 92 as we head toward around noontime for tomorrow on some west and southwest winds. That wind direction there providing slightly drier air. But we got a lot of alerts here to talk about, a bunch of colors. Think of this like these are your two main colors, and this is kind of mix there. So when we're talking about Oktibbeha County here and a lot of these other spots, what we're looking at here are heat advisories. That goes for Lowndes, Noxubee, Winston, Choctaw. But that also to a certain extent extends up here, Prentiss, Union, Tippah. But notice we have a different phrase there, extreme heat watch. What we have is the combination of that heat advisory. That is definitely in play here. But these are the spots that the National Weather Service Memphis says could potentially be upgraded to the pink here. That's why, again, that's kind of the mix there. And this back for Sunflower County or Quitman or Coahoma or Tunica, this extreme heat warning is the highest level heat alert that the National Weather Service puts out. That's where those heat indices could be in excess of 110 to nearly 115 in some spots. That's very dangerously hot. And that's what we have in play for tomorrow because high pressure is the storyline across our region. I got to go down here to the Gulf of Mexico. Ooh, we went way too far in. So let's try fixing that here for a second. Let's go to the Mississippi view here. Let's go wider one more time to see that high down there in the Gulf of Mexico. And if you look closely, and I'm going to go a little wider to kind of show it, there's not a lot going on this evening. It certainly hasn't been today. I mean, what? You have all your rainfall sort of up here, and the majority of what I'm showing that doesn't have hardly anything. So it's well up to the north. So this has done a good job of kind of clearing out the space for things to work with, the sinking air and the clear skies associated with that. So let's look at futurecasts as we go overnight. And again, you can also kind of see those dots representing the winds down there to the south, all kind of in a clockwise direction with that. As we go into tomorrow, you'll notice again, overnight, we find ourselves in that clear category on that. I'm going to go back and we're going to catch that again because apparently I have an itchy trigger finger on this Sunday night. So let's go ahead and walk through this again here. So we're looking now, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, overnight. We stay clear, we stay dry because of the way this is setting up here. But as we go into tomorrow, again, clear and dry as well. But I want you to note the wind direction that we have here. Generally out of the west, right? And so out here on the plains, this is dry. And this is not down in the Gulf. Well, all of our winds are heading away from the shore at that point, so we're not really transporting in more moisture in this case. We're just kind of using what's out there. But there's still this little wave of energy that's kind of moving in from the north and east, and that will bring us some limited rain chances. Futurecast has those. We'll look at those more detailed county by county here in a couple of minutes. Over the next 24 hours, again, starting off at 77, but we're 87 by noon and 93 by noontime with mid-90s on the way. It will feel like it's 105 to 110 for most spots, and in some locations 110 plus. So that's extremely hot. Why does this matter? Because it's always hot this time of year. It's because you and I don't take heat seriously. And that's why heat is the #1 weather killer. It's not tornadoes, it's not hurricanes, not even flooding. It is heat because we all experience it at the same time. And if we're out in it and we don't take it seriously, it can be a killer. There are some limited rain chances. We're hoping that can bring a little bit of rain cool there, but those chances get a lot better as we progress into this work week. We're looking at some of the rainfall totals from the next couple of days and looking toward just how much cooler with the complete 7-day forecast as Mississippi Live Weather at 10 continues right after this.
You need some help?
Your tow chains are a little loose. Could spark a wildfire. I could show you how to secure them properly if you'd like.
Sure. Thanks a lot.
Anytime. You should check out SmokeyBear.com. They've got a bunch of tips on wildfire prevention.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobheim.
And welcome back in here to Mississippi Live Weather 10. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon on what has been an improving evening. You can see temperature to 77, more manageable in Pontotoc than most locations have been this evening. The air is still fairly humid. Anytime that dew point's in the 70s, but this has been more like little mid 70s, maybe upper 70s. I think that wind direction, that slight shift to the southwest today, starting more of a westerly wind direction there, and hopefully that will make a difference on keeping things more manageable over the course of the next couple days. I want to say hi to all those folks watching this evening. I see some folks here. We show all across the region, Water Valley and a few other spots. And appreciate all y'all for continuing to watch us this evening here during our 10 o'clock broadcast as we look outside, not just in Pontotoc, but also Winona at this time. 78 degrees temperature, and that dew point more manageable there as well. Haven't had a lot of showers today. Not expecting a lot as we go into the overnight hours. But Monday, rain chances picking up into the afternoon. Mid-90s on the way for the highs, and again, adding 10 degrees to that for what it will feel like. It is going to be extremely sultry. Those heat indices, again, today, I hate to say the 105 is manageable, but comparatively speaking, adding 5 degrees, 6 to 7 degrees over the next couple days makes it a lot more rough. But look closely here beyond Thursday. We start to see that heat index becoming more manageable as a front moves in Friday, Saturday. Looking a lot better as we go into this upcoming weekend. I say a lot better. Listen, it's still going to feel like it's in the mid-90s. It's an improvement, but we're still heading into August, so an improvement is always relative this time of year. As we talked about a minute ago, we have those excessive heat, extreme heat watches. The different E words there, extreme, excessive. I apologize that sometimes I'm going to be back and forth on those, and I think they've gone with extreme heat warning. In fact, I might still be using last year's terminology on this. So let me get this right. Extreme heat warning for locations out here in the Delta. Extreme heat watch, again, warning higher level than watch. And so one of those signs that obviously we have some issues out there. Futurecast overnight leading into that. Of course, we are dry. Again, the sinking air, clear skies associated with that as we are clear and dry heading throughout the better part of the next at least 12 hours or so as we go into your Monday. But notice Futurecast does have a few more clouds there. It does try to kick out maybe a rogue sprinkle. We're still in rogue sprinkle time of the year, though most of us dry obviously begin the day. 76 down to that in Grenada and Cleveland, 78 in Greenville. Yeah, I show 77 Tupelo, but that would have us not dropping really at all from where we're at. So I might be a little high on these low temperatures. Fingers crossed, but here's what happens in that situation. If we even have just a little bit more dry air, while that I don't think necessarily changes where the heat index land, that could actually pump the actual high temperature up a little bit more. So that's one of the things we're considering and part of the reason why we have temperatures where they are over the next couple of days. Here's Futurecast showing on its latest run here, and this coming in just in the last about 20 minutes or so. Some more of those showers and thunderstorms showing up Boonville back toward around Florence, Alabama there, and continuing to kind of work their way back toward the south and east. So again, northwest to southeast. This is related again to that high pressure center that's down there in the Gulf of Mexico. Let me go wide on this for a second, kind of show this. So we have the high down in the Gulf down there. And we do have some of these showers kind of rotating around the north side. There's just this little area of weakness here. So while the H is the main story, you do get these little ripples, and that's where our rain chances come from as we progress into the Monday time period throughout your Monday. So again, we're going to stop things here at noontime. A few of these depicting a little bit of red on there as we have a couple of these popping up a little bit stronger. We show closer to Tupelo. The Delta largely does not get mixed up and have any relief from these showers. I think we could still get one or two little pop-ups there, but certainly northeast Mississippi with that little wave, the most likely location to have a few of these trying to pop up. 4, 5, even 6 o'clock, a few of those out there into possibly tomorrow evening. With high temperatures for tomorrow pushing up to 95, we'll show in Oxford 97 degrees in Water Valley. Again, that dry air is kind of the question mark. If we're even just a little bit drier, that'll boost these temperatures just a little bit more for tomorrow. I think we have some rain-cooled effects there trying to knock a couple of those temperatures down. Looking at the latest model data, I think that might be overselling the positive here. This is the main story. 106, that heat index at 3 p.m. And again, I'm just picking a time there, 3 p.m., but really anywhere from probably late morning into and through the afternoon, we're going to have those heat indices pretty hot and sticky out there, and obviously dangerously hot. That's the reason why, of course, we have these wet bulb globe temperatures, and this is one of those things we've talked about a lot recently. Again, if you're in the black zones there, you have to be aware that you are more susceptible to heat-related illnesses, and so obviously that is many, if not most of us for tomorrow, and certainly all of us as we look toward your Tuesday. So into your Monday evening, we had earlier been watching, I was waiting to see what our Futurecast would come up with here. A few of these showers, again, we're farther removed from that high that's kind of down at my feet down there at the Gulf of Mexico. And so the farther away you get, a few more of those showers kind of depicted, kind of moving from northwest to southeast. But notice how Storm Tracker does try to get a few of those down from Lawrenceburg, closer to Florence, possibly trying to encroach on our area. I think, again, that's fairly aggressive, but it has been in there the last couple of model runs, so it has them kind of falling apart before they make it down to Russellville or Red Bay or the Hamilton area. A few additional sprinkles kind of back on the backside of this as well as our overall ridge starts weakening more into Tuesday. Tuesday's kind of a battleground on how many rain chances we'll see, though it does depict on Futurecast here a few earlier in the day, certainly afternoon, the more likely time period to see a few of those storms popping up. And you will notice a greater quantity of those than what we were showing even at 5 and 6 o'clock on this projection here. So a greater quantity than what we're looking at on your Monday. So as far as rainfall goes, today was as dry as we get, and we still had a couple little pop-ups. More likely to have rainfall chances creeping in as we go into Monday and especially Tuesday, and a lot better chances by Wednesday. So highs by your Tuesday afternoon, we're going 98 Tupelo and Amory, 96 degrees Oxford, 100 Belzona. I show 101 there in Greenville. Here's the deal. If we pop up any rain-cooled air, here's hoping we hold some of those temperatures down a little bit. Heat indices over 100 all locations. And this is why we have those extreme heat warnings and that extreme heat watch that is in effect, because I think through Tuesday and Wednesday, and probably starting to see things improve as we look closer to Thursday and eventually Friday. So here is that wet bulb globe temperature. And again, I show this over and over again. We haven't, this is new data that we have access here that we couldn't have shown on camera before. when we would talk about this, say, last summer. So that's why we're showing it so much more now, is because we have access to this data that we're able to put, of course, on our website, msliveweather.com. For those coaches, for honestly, employers with people out there, keep this in mind. If you're in this extreme level, any significant period of time that folks are outside exerting themselves makes them susceptible to heat injury. So just keep that in mind. This is something developed by the military, so those folks aren't wimps, all right? So if they say that that's the way we need to look at it, that's the way we look at it as well, because obviously their folks are very well conditioned. Now, as far as rainfall totals are concerned, you can see just how spotty some of the rainfall is going to be the next couple of days there. We do have a few spots where we do have more of that brighter green showing up on there. That would be 2 inches or more, and a couple locations where we show in excess of 2. But again, most that's with that stuff we were looking at up toward Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, trying to work its way southward. So not exactly a high confidence scenario. I would say if you look beyond this, I'm going to go to analysis mode here on my graphic. We talked about this a little bit during our 6 o'clock broadcast, that the temperature outlook a little cooler later this week and increasing considerably more in the extended forecast there. But if we look at the precipitation outlook for the next week or so, in comparison to where we've been, it is looking a little bit greater. We find most of us in this lighter green, which is, the chance above normal, right? So this doesn't mean you're going to have a ton of rainfall down south, but this does mean when we're looking at compared to what we typically expect this time of year, which is gradually these spotty storms, so fairly dry, that the chances are greatest to be above normal, especially in that August 2nd through 6th time frame, which would be, just beyond our 7-day forecast down south. And then, looking there closer, it's more likely once we get toward the 2-week time period that we're kind of even money on which way this ends up going. But as far as rainfall totals specifically are concerned on this, I'm going to look at the cumulative totals over the next week. This from the Weather Prediction Center, an arm of NOAA that puts together these kind of forecasts. This tends to underdo totals by, in some cases, a considerable amount. But where you see the yellows on here, spots where we could be talking 2 or more inches for a lot of locations across North Mississippi, because of how spotty the rainfall is, especially the first half of the forecast period, but even in the extended, it still remains thunderstorms. That's part of the reason why it does not have as high a rainfall totals. But we do anticipate there will be isolated spots to pick up 3 or more inches of rainfall. It's just going to be somewhat feast or famine, as has been the case recently as well. So as we kind of zip this ahead here and look toward your 7-day forecast, again, I'm going 98 the high on Tuesday. We increased that coverage of rainfall to 30%. I might be a little low. That might have to go to 40% tomorrow. And so we've gradually taken this rainfall total coverage likelihood up a little bit the last couple days. We're at 50% for Wednesday, 60% as we look toward Thursday and Friday. And then by the weekend, look at that, front in the area, dropping temperatures to a certain extent, making kind of a bit of a difference there. And obviously improving those temperatures significantly by that point in time. I know nobody's really going to gripe about that, but certainly an improvement there in the extended forecast related to that. We did get a few weather pictures in this evening. I think Greg's here in Boonville does probably the best job on our weather watchers of encapsulating how today feels. And I'm not saying it's a desert movie, but a cool shot there, I think, from a drone. You can see the water tower there, and of course the high thin clouds, a sign that obviously dry weather was the storyline for today. And this one, a throwback to last night, one of the last ones, kind of came in a little late this evening, but I think it's kind of cool. Shows just how weak even some of the thunderstorms were last night. A lot of viewers up there in Red Bay. We appreciate all you watching us here on Mississippi Live Weather. I know that Mississippi's in the name. Clearly, we're still covering some of those counties along the Alabama state line that we have traditionally covered, and we appreciate all the viewers up there. But again, this is one of those, like we talked about last night, where the storm's kind of collapsing at the same time. I'm not going to be able to get rid of what we call the wings there, but you can see how as it was falling over, essentially, it was just kind of raining out what was there as the cloud was dissipating. Kind of a cool shot, not something we see very often, and so something that I thought was kind of cool this evening. Let's check and see on our chat here for a moment if we've got anything interesting coming in for tonight. We do have, looks like, Some people it looks like I've got some spam in there we're going to have to go take care of. A lot of folks saying hi tonight in Corinth and Okolona, Oxford and Wren. Appreciate all y'all for supporting us here on Mississippi Live Weather. Tomorrow, of course, we're honing in more on those extended rain chances and how that could change. Of course, if you do have weather pictures, you can send those in using the app and, of course, track it using the interactive radar there. And I got to emphasize this. If you have the app, highly recommend that you go ahead and upgrade it because a new version of that dropped on Friday and it's a lot more efficient with your battery life. I know from time to time, even I noticed it was kind of sucking down my battery if you left it on for a longer period of time, and even in the background it was going a little bit. It's better with that. Highly recommend you update your app just to make sure everything is in good shape as far as that is concerned. But of course, thanks for watching, and we will see you live again tomorrow at 5 p.m. and all the updates here on the Mississippi Live Weather Channel anytime you want to see those. Thanks for watching, and have a great night.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lopon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lopon has proven himself trustworthy.